Okay, so was just, I don't know if you guys do this, but kind of cruising around YouTube channels where they do YouTube Elementor stuff, and there's this one guy that I run into every now and again. Some guy, so I guess he's Indian. His name is Jim Fahad, and he has a channel or a company called Jim Fahad Digital, and he had this little demo showing how to build this, which is nested tabs, and and it's interactive, and so if you think about the old way that we did tabs, we had the tab title, it could be whatever you want, and then you had basically text. I think you could, if you knew HTML, CSS, you could write some custom HTML in there, but you pretty much were limited. But with the new tabs, we have, these are the tabs, and this is the content for the tabs. It can be multiple containers, it can be multiple items, it can be all kinds of stuff, pretty much whatever you want. And let's see, what do I want to say here? But to make this, to be able to do this, let me get to the dashboard. We need to go to settings. We would need to make sure that, go to features, need to make sure the Flexbox container is on, and we need to make sure nested elements are on. And of course, it says here requires Flexbox container. So that's the difference, at least the nested part as far as the tabs go. All you could really do was put text, but now you can put pretty much anything. Kind of like when they came out with the mega menu, it just gives you a box and you can build whatever you want in it. It's kind of the same thing. And so I saw this and I kind of liked it, thought it was kind of neat. But in and of itself, it's not what, it's not that terribly interesting. And I watched him. Let me give you a link. He did a video on how to do it. So if you had any desire to know how to do this, I'm going to put this in the chat. Chat. Where's chat? There it is. Put this in here. And there's the URL. There's a URL there, and then it. If you look in the description, there's tells you to start at 508 to create all this stuff from scratch. So take a look at that if you like. But anyway, but in watching him do this, it was a lot of handwork. He'd have to go. He created the initial one, and then he'd have to go in and he duplicated them, and then he had to go in and change all this stuff. And I thought, well, that'd be pretty. That's a pain in the butt. What if you could somehow do this dynamically? And then I thought of advanced custom fields, because I use advanced custom fields a lot, particularly for custom post types. Things like I have some real estate companies that use it for properties. And a number of organizations use it for their employee listing, have their employee profiles, like in you have custom post type of team members, let's say, and they all belong to different departments, and then in the team member section where it lists all the a grid of all the people, you can click on their meet Bob, and it would take them to a bio page, and then you can go back to that page and So, and it has filterable tabs at the top. I think it's the ultimate add-ons for Elementor type thing. This can be used, this kind of concept could be used with filterable tabs too. And so, but I was thinking about doing it with ACF would make it easier for, in the end for it to update, because you don't have to go in and try to edit in the Elementor. You can just go and do it in a regular WordPress editor. So I said, I'm going to do this in ACF. So then I put up the thing about the meeting, and then I started digging into it, and it turned out it wasn't as simple as I thought it was going to be. Because I guess I didn't think it through all the way, because really advanced custom fields, more often than not, are used for things that are post-like. They could be pages, but post custom post types. And I was kind of in a quandary, and then I ran across another video by the guy over at Web Squadron, and he had a video on loop filters with nested tabs. And it's not the same as this, but it had enough information in it to where it sort of gave me an insight as to how I could accomplish what I was going to try to do. So I'm going to put a link to that video if you're any chance interested. And so I messed around with it, and it can be done. You're looking at it done. All this data here is being pulled from advanced custom fields, and I'll go through and show you how we did this. But there's a lot of moving parts to this. But after I got into this and I had committed to doing this, I was on a mission. I had to figure out how to make this work with advanced custom fields. So let's talk about what is making this up. Well, first, there's the nested tabs, and I already showed you, old tabs, all you can really do is put text in, and new tabs you can put, because this is essentially a container, that's a container, and each one of these is a container. All that, whereas before all you could do is put mostly text. So it does give you flexibility and options. So then we had to, so we got the nested tabs, and then, we had to come up with the custom post type. And so we came, the post type is cars. And I don't know how many people use ACF, but in a recent update to ACF, because it now inside of advanced custom fields, you can set up post types. Up until recently, I would set up post types in custom post types UI. And years ago, people have been doing this a long time. You'll remember, used to have to go into the functions .php file and register post types, which was a whole nother great fun exercise. But now it's built into advanced custom fields so hey, yay for them. So basically you can get there through under ACF in the sidebar, or you can go to ACF and then go up here. So we only have one post type, cars. We have six posts, six posts. And it's very similar to CPT UI, custom post type UI, if you're familiar. Probably very similar to pods. There's a tool by Crock-a-Block, which I think it's one of their jet things. I don't remember what it's called, but they all kind of set up the same. You put the plural label of your post type, your singular label, and then this is generated automatically. If you want to have taxonomies, what taxonomies you're going to have, and that's going to be important in a little bit. And I clicked on advanced configuration to get advanced settings. All I want in the WordPress editor page for this post type that is native to WordPress, the title, the featured image, and tags. And I probably didn't need the feature image after I did it. So those are in there, but that's it. And I didn't do anything else with this. And so that's all, that's that. Then there's the field groups. And if we look at the final deal, back here, this is the name of the model, the name of the car. And that's the model, make, year, doors, AC, transmission, manual, so on and so forth, and the price. And if we go to the fields, field groups, we see those same things. So we set up label fields for the name and a photo and the fee and all those items. So anyway, that makes it to where we can edit the cars. So we can go to cars, and we can go to, say, that Audi, which is the top of the list, and all we have are a bunch of fields to fill in. And really not that, it's not very complicated. This is the car name. We put the title here, same exact thing for the car name. And here, this is what made me able to do this as a loop, is I put a tag of the car name, the name of the car as a tag. We'll come back to that in a little bit. And then I just go in and fill in all this information. And then once that's filled in, you update it. And let's change something. Let's make it a 2020. Let's see. Hopefully the cache isn't too aggressive on this. Let's see. Might be. Nope, see it updated. And
so Oscar has a question, Kerry, when you get a moment.
Okay, go ahead, Oscar.
You're not actually using the featured image, which you said you were going to use, right?
No, well, I put the featured image, but let's go back to the car. I'm using this.
Yeah, you're using the car photo, which is an image field on the CPT, but you're not using the featured image.
No.
That when defining the CPT, you said you were going to use.
Well, when I after I got into it, I decided I didn't really need it, and I just didn't go back and.
Because what I usually do is just use the title. That's the only thing I use. Everything else I define. If I need an image, I define it and hold that. It gives me kind of a little better structure on the way of filling out the information.
I don't understand what you're saying, Oscar.
Probably talking too fast or talking in Spanish.
No, you were talking in English.
No, I mean, every time I use one of the fields that the regular post have in WordPress, like the featured image, excerpt, and things like that, that I could select when defining the custom post type. I
Right.
don't use. The only one I use is the title.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And this one, it probably could have been that case too. I think when I originally set that up, I was still trying to figure out how I was going to make this work. But yeah, if I would go back and clean everything up, I would probably take out the featured image. But yeah, I got you now. I understand. Okay, let me get rid of that.
Sorry to speak the Spanish.
No, I didn't hear you in Spanish. Okay, so anyway, we put all this stuff in here, and that populates this. And then so then let's go to the car loop template. And here I'm going to solicit some input from some of the more experienced users. Where am I looking at here? Going to themes, team builder. So we built a car loop in the theme builder. Now, does anybody know why you can't make when you're building these, make this wider? It's a real pain in the rear. Because it's set, it's set at 100 pixels, and no, it's a kind of a pain.
No, I understand you can just drag it from the left edge to the left.
Can you expand your container in your navigator for me, and I could probably figure it out for you.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, got it.
Up.
And then so that's the container that has
At
the
the
car.
top left.
Yeah. So no. You're doing fine. Go to your top container.
Okay.
So this is the loop, right? You're building your loop,
Yeah.
and it's set to a specific size.
174 pixels. I mean,
Yeah.
174%.
Percent. You might want to fix that because it doesn't understand. Yeah. So
Clear that.
then your outside container, yes, you want to keep it at 100%. Then you go to your inside, your next container,
Mm-hmm.
and you have that set at 60%.
I think it was. Yeah, I think so. Because originally I would think it was 68, but then I think I took it down to,
And then,
and that one's 40.
so I think and let's go to your page settings, because I think the width is not. And I'm sorry.
Site settings.
No, I thought it would be under page settings, but sorry. Let me see.
But
Advanced.
this really isn't a page. It's
It's the
considered.
loop. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was just a question that I wondered about, because usually when I'm building the custom loops, they're for like posts, so it doesn't really make that big a deal, because we're doing a picture and a title and some metadata and maybe a call to action button or something.
Right, but is this supposed to be a full page size? Because this doesn't look like it's wide enough to accommodate the table in the second column container.
Well,
It looks fine on the live view though.
Yeah, the live view, it looks fine.
I mean, it's populating nicely.
Okay, so if it's populating fine, then you're good.
Yeah, I just wish it would. Well, there's another issue too that, and I don't know. I can't remember all the little things that happened as I was working on this, but I found, and I don't know if it was Flexbox containers or if it was the nested elements section. Every now and again, I run into some weird behavior.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. Today, I won't even begin to tell you the weird behavior I experience.
And so anyway, I just work around it, try to, but but this is the loop, and so this is the car, and this is an ACF image field, and it's just car photo is the key, and then over here we got the price, and then we click on that, and it's the rental fee is the key. But on this one we have an advance because it's got the dollar sign in front, so we've got a dollar sign and a space. We don't have the space, then of course it doesn't show here because it's having to stack it. But
Hey, I think.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I want to go back to something. I think Oscar was asking this, but I'm going to ask it. Can you go back to your image? So you created a field instead of using the
Featured image.
yeah.
Yeah,
Why did you do that?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I know why I do it. I know why I do it. I always do it. The only field that I use from the regular type, from the regular post,
Right.
title. Everything else, if I need an excerpt, I use, let's say, short bio, and I define the field instead of using
Right.
If I need an image, I use the headshot. I define an image field as person headshot, and instead of using the featured image.
Right.
And the reason
Why,
for that,
why
Sharon,
is that, Oscar? Like, why do you only use title and none of the others?
because let's say the featured image, you selected on the right panel of the WordPress dashboard. See, while the featured image, if you go to the
Oh, right. Because in the usual layout, featured image is always down on the bottom right.
Right.
So, oh, right. So you're just keeping it so your user can follow the flow of input.
That's the only reason.
Right.
Helping the user to be, making it more friendly for the user.
Which is a good reason.
Right.
Good reason.
And that's a good point. That's a good point, Oscar, because one of the things that I found that's very helpful using advanced custom fields is I can build a site that has some complex pages, but make it easy for the client to build them.
But I'm just going to say this, you guys can do what you want to do, but when you do that, when you're creating extra fields that WordPress already has a field for, you're increasing the size of your database. So now you've added an extra image field in your database instead of using what WordPress has provided for you. And I know you're making it easier for the customer user, but you have to also understand the consequences of you doing that. Now you've added some extra space into your database by adding that extra field instead of using, WordPress. Even when you use custom fields, you can still use the WordPress included, included fields. So
sure. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Increase that, use that extra space.
Right.
As I understand, that goes on a separate table. And if you do not select that on the structure of the custom post type, but which is the one that I use, and advanced custom field should do the same, they're not going to create the featured image field on the new custom post type you're defining. So that extra field does not go on the custom post type that you're defining. So it's not an extra field.
Oh, so what you're saying, Oscar, is if you do not select featured image to be part of that custom post type, it's taking that out of the database, that whole.
No.
That's what I understand.
No, because you have to understand where these fields are going. That image field, featured image, is in the metadata. automatically. It's always there. It doesn't matter.
Even when there's not an image?
Well, even if it's blank, yes, it's always there, but it's not, if it's blank, it's not taking up space. But the fact that you're adding an extra image field, you're increasing the size of your table that you've used instead of using what WordPress provides.
Okay, well, that's a
Probably think that would probably think that that's important when you have a million items and you have a define a lot of images. But for
That's true.
at least for the size of the websites that we build, 20, 50 employees, doesn't really make a big difference. I know it may make it then, according to what you say, but I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't stop doing it for a small site.
Yeah, you have to just figure out the trade-offs.
sure. And yeah. So so we set up the loop item. And so the picture, the pricing, and these specific things are advanced custom fields. So we'll get out of that. And then let's go to the page that has the thing. First of all, here's the page. Now, this is what it looks like in Elementor. Now, I've run into this in using some other situations, and I knew it, then that was normal, but I don't know if this is normal, is that this container contact, the grid of features is not showing up here. It's there, because if we go into, we just expand out the navigator, we're seeing that's the loop grid for the Toyota, but it's not showing this stuff here.
Welcome to the world of weirdness in Elementor.
Yeah. So anyway, but it works. So,
I mean, it is in beta, so they're still working out the kinks.
and yeah, I mean,
What if you hide your tool set? Does it render it properly? At least,
what do you mean?
Just click the arrow for preview. So you hides your tools, and then just shows the.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Does that render it?
No.
No. All right.
Okay. So I mentioned it that the tags would play an important role. So first of all, when you kind of get into, you first open this up, you think, well, how do I get to these things? This is the loop. This is the loop template, loop item. So how do I get to this? Well, let's just do it from the navigator. And then we go to tabs. Now, if we click tabs, now we see the tabs. And pretty much all that is here is the title. But that tab that's titled Audi A1 S-Line has this loop grid. And this loop grid has a query searching cars, looking for a tag that says Audi A1 S-Line. So all the information that is under this post, this car post that has that tag, will appear here. And then the same is true for all of them. And we look at the query. We see VW Golf 6. And we'll go to the very last one. and look at the query and VW Passat CC. Okay. So that's how that works. And then
I have a question.
shoot, go right ahead.
So I have been trying to understand the archive template. And the archive template sort of is like waiting for a query. Because if you take the archive grid widget and you drop it on a page, you don't get the query like you do in a loop, not a loop, the post widget, and including the loop grid. The loop grid and the post widget both have a query that you can force something in there to query for you. And my brain's going towards the archive template. If you go in to and you create an archive template and you set up all your stuff in there, and in the loop grid query, choose current query, would it do the same thing without having to do all of the tags and match them up? It would just be waiting for whatever tag you clicked on and would render and pull up the right car. That's just, you could probably do that on your free time, but my brain has been on the archive template lately.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what your question is. Sharon, do you or Oscar, y'all, I'm afraid I'm not understanding.
So if you go, if instead of putting it on a page, all of the widgets that you set up for, if you put the loop grid on an archive template page,
Okay.
and in the loop grid set current query, whenever you click on, I mean, you'd still have to set up your tags, but you wouldn't have to associate them. You would click on it, it would be an archive template, and it would already know, oh, you just clicked on a tag. Oh, okay, I'll filter that all out automatically.
Yeah, if you have the query set to do that, the archive will take the instructions as you have it set up to be.
I mean, because I'm trying to figure out, me as a teacher part, trying to explain to somebody the difference between a single post or just a page with a post grid on it, and why you would need a archive template.
Yeah, so your archive is your taxonomy, right? It can be sorted by categories or tags or whatever you want to designate.
Right.
So yes, in fact, you could, on your archive page, you can set up several queries, do several templates in your queries, because I do that a lot. I show like the most recent one, and then I have like featured items, and then, categories or whatever. So you can do different types of queries on an archive page.
Okay.
Yeah, and you could even probably do some of that how you set your display conditions. But that's a whole nother deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it is. Okay. So
yeah, I had the feeling I was opening a can of worms when I asked the question.
that's okay. Worms are welcome. Okay, let's see here.
Hey, Kerry, just for you to know, if you want to know how to widen the preview of the loop item, I can tell you.
Okay, let me go back to it. Exit.
You're not using the new editor bar? I like it a lot.
No, not yet.
They go to templates.
Oh, that's right. Got what I was looking for here. Loop. Okay, fire away.
Okay, go to the, get the structure up. The navigator,
Okay,
click on the container. Okay, now go to style
okay.
and go to, wait, give me a second. Yeah, you go to the container, I mean, go to advanced, and Jesus, I just did it.
I wonder if grow would work. No.
I'm sorry. Go to the page settings.
That's the loop item thing.
Go to preview settings. And what version do you have? Oh, okay, width.
Width. Mhm.
Very good.
Yay.
You just go to viewport width and select whatever you want. Instead of pixels, go to percentage or go to viewport width. You play with it.
Yeah,
Good
you
deal.
100% in viewport with.
What?
He did it. He did exactly what you were saying.
Uh-huh.
Let's see how that if that affects anything other than.
No, it doesn't really. That's only for the preview.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to just start screwing around with things. I got to make sure it isn't breaking something. Okay, awesome. That's worth the price of admission right there.
If you don't like the navigator, pull it all the way to the right.
Right, yeah. Do you mean docket?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Against your screw if that goes away. Okay. So let me go back to my notes here. We're running out of time. Now let's go back to this. Now I don't know what the use cases we could have for something like this, but it's other than that, it was kind of neat to see how to do. If for some reason, if somebody wanted to actually use this or something like this, then there comes the question, okay, how do I get rid of, let's say I want to get rid of the Audi. Well, let's see. If I get rid of the page, I'm sorry, the car, I'm going to trash it. And I'm not only going to trash it, I'm
Don't
going to.
delete it. Don't delete it permanently yet. Hold
Yeah,
it.
I'm going to because I'm going to put it back or build it back. I want to show what's going on here. Okay, so I deleted it. I trashed it, deleted it permanently. But this still shows up. There's nothing in here, but because the page is gone, but it's still there. So if I wanted to delete it from that, I'd have to go to page and then go to tabs and then just X out. And then we go back and reload. It's back to normal. But let's say we want to put it back. Let's see, we're going to put Audi A1S. Going to put it back.
Yeah, can you show that, Kerry?
Show
say
what?
say you were the client and you were adding, you just showed us how to delete one. So play as you were the client and add a new car. Say you've got a new car into your fleet and you want to add a new car. So you're already here adding the new tab now. So what else would you do?
I'll show you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was my plan. So we've added the new tab. Okay. So we're good with that. And so I'm going to update. And what I have to do is now go to the navigator. Nope. I'm in, what am I editing here? Container here, here we go. Tab 1, loop grid. Okay, so this is the loop grid. Let's see, this is loop grid. And okay, because I duplicated the VW Golf and then changed the title, it still had the tab or the tag for the VW Golf. So that's why it's still showing up. So I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to, wait a minute.
Actually, don't you have to recreate the car in your
Yeah,
car
you have
database?
information in the database right now because you deleted it permanently. So you have to recreate the card to be able to make it populate. That's
Right,
what
right,
it's
yeah.
deleted permanently.
Okay. Now it's not showing anything for the Audi because there is no Audi yet. So I'm going to update this. I think. Hope I don't screw anything up. And then we go back to, we just exit. And cars.
A new.
And I'm going to add a new one. I'm going to call it the Audi A1 S line. That's the car name. And that's going to be the tag. So I've got here. The rental fee is $45. And the model line is Audi. And see what I think this is easier for the customer to do. Than having to try to maneuver your cursor into these little spaces. Okay, so we pretty much now I need to put the car image. And I believe
Terry, let me stop you for a quick second. Those drop downs that were pre-populated, did you do that or for any of the fields? Rental field, rental fee, model, make, year, they had drop downs that were pre-populated.
well, I think it's probably remembering the browser's remembering some of the other things that I've done. Like, for instance, when I log into certain things, there'll be 3 or 4 suggestions of what I might want to put into.
And the reason why I'm asking, because I'm just wondering what I'm putting on my client hat and thinking as how they would be, knowing that they don't really know too much about what they're doing. I was just wondering if that was pre-populated or if it was just the browser memory.
No, I mean it could be. You could have a field where you select from particular models. You know, because this is all done. You know, you're doing it manually.
Manually,
It could be even more automated. You could have model, and you could have a drop down of a bunch of different kinds of models and pick one. Kind of like when you do a filtered search on a car website, you could say, okay, I'm looking for an Audi, and I want and then it shows all the cars and said a model, I want A1 S line. Then it shows a bunch, and then you say, well, I want for 2012. Then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So anyway,
And I realize you did a lot of these fields as just, single text, but you could probably, like, down at the bottom, even doors and transmission and fuel could be some drop down items. There's only manual and automatic and transmission. You could make that drop down item, so they wouldn't have to be.
yeah. Good.
Plus,
This
sometimes
actually-
too with data cleanliness too, you want to keep them from after a while, the misspellings and
Yeah.
bad data adds up.
Yep.
Yeah. So if I was actually building this for a customer, would probably try to use, if the nature of the project was such that it was limited to certain kinds of, if it was cars, models, or years, I would do that, make them
Less error
a
prone.
pick list. They can pick, so they can't break anything or do anything wrong. So we just fill out these
Hey,
fields, simple
so-
or complicated. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a quick question for you. So currently you're using the tag to basically be the selector, but could
Right.
you also have that be a field? So if you knew your cars, you could have that be a drop down of options, and then on the tab side of things, could you dynamically populate the selectors, or is that not possible?
I don't know the answer to that. I think you can.
I think so, Carrie. I don't use ACF. I know I can do that in pods. So I would imagine ACF can do the same thing.
There is a dynamic tags availability on the tab title.
Right. Yeah. That's not an issue. But see, it wouldn't know that. I don't know how to explain this. It's dynamic, but let me reload this. Or it has the potential to be dynamic, but these aren't really connected in the same way that a post is connected. But so that could you and Sharon, could you what you're saying that you can do in pods, can you describe to me what it is that y'all are talking about doing? Because we can filter by tags and categories and
Sure. So in pods, I have the capability of assigning categories and tags or any taxonomy that I want to to my custom field type that I'm doing.
right.
And, I was just saying, I would imagine that ACF has the same capability, so you don't have to enter in like he's doing here. You could just have it entered dynamically when you select it.
Of what interdynamics?
The tag. So say your car name is Audi A1 S line.
Okay.
Okay. So I can associate a tag with that where it automatically takes that car name and creates that tag. So now I have a dynamic tag.
In pods.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, ACF may be able to do that. I don't purport to be a ACF guru. I've used it a lot over the years, but for particular use cases, and I've not had a use case to where I had to figure out something like that. So, but I have to look into it.
I personally believe that there's got to be an easier way to achieve these, because it gets a little bit cumbersome if the information that goes on the nested tabs is very dynamic. Let's say you have to add 2 cars every week, every day, and get 3 out. Then you will have to go and do one by one.
No, absolutely. No, this was more of a can it be done type thing.
Yeah.
Is how because down the way there may come up a situation to where this might be useful to me or useful to you. But as I started thinking about it, I thought, well, there ought to be a way, and I worked on trying to figure out a way. And but no, if you wanted to, there's a lot better ways to do this, but it's still probably better once it's built than doing it the way the original video showed doing it, because it was all done by hand. And
Carrie, I would love to continue that conversation of, just asking the group, what ways do you think, because like Carrie is saying, he just improved on the way the original poster of the video did it. So how would you guys improve on it? What would you do different?
So here's just my 2 cents worth. When you do stuff like this with like advanced custom fields and you want to create custom taxonomy and stuff like that, you have to put your database hat on, and you should already understand how the WordPress database is set up. Kind of like what I was mentioning before, that the featured image is in what is called a post metadata table. So when you build your custom fields, they go into the same table. So and Pods is the only custom field creation plugin that I know that you can actually create your own tables without affecting the WordPress tables. Now, again, I've never used ACF. Well, actually, I have. I shouldn't say I've never used it. I have used it. And there's other ones out there, Toolset, and anyway, there's several out there. But when you do stuff like this, you have to have a understanding of databases and how they're built, and so that you can streamline the work a little better and not create that database bloat that I'm trying to talk about.
okay.
So Sharon, would it be safe to say you prefer, well, I'm asking a question I already know the answer to. You say you've barely used ACF, so you prefer Pods over ACF.
So I started with ACF. That's what I should have said. I started with ACF. I use ACF, and I also use the CrocodBlock jet engine. So I tried a couple of things, and the reason why I didn't like ACF, but as Carrie mentioned in the beginning, it's changed now. But the original reason why I didn't like ACF, because I had to use CPT as well as ACF. So that's 2 plugins.
Right.
So and then Jet Engine, it worked well, but then again, I had to add other plugins to, get it to also do what I wanted it to do. Whereas Pods, I can use Pods. I didn't have to have CPT. I didn't have to have any additional plugins. I could, and Oscar can probably attest to this because I talk a lot about Pods, but Pods has a lot of capabilities that none of these other tool sets have. And I just prefer that because I can go further, and I can really get things set up the way that works with the WordPress database tables. And so you're not creating a lot of extra bloat in there.
That's very
I know-
interesting.
I know this is really advanced, I'm sorry, but
I
but
totally agree.
that's what you have to think about when you get into stuff like this, though, because it is advanced and you have to start thinking in database terms because you are going to initially affect that database.
How would I find that? What
Totally
would
agree
I,
with you.
pods?
PODS, pods,
repository.
pods framework, or I don't even think they call it framework, it's just pods.
It's in the repository, right?
Yes.
I
Pods is
thought it
free.
was a paid plugin.
No.
No,
Pods is free.
it's completely free.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
And the templates, have you used the template from Pods?
yep. Yeah, Oscar's really good. Now, I don't use the templates a lot, but Oscar uses the templates a whole lot, and I'm impressed with how he's used it. I actually try to incorporate Elementor more than Oscar does. So I use Elementor templates as opposed to Pods template, but I have used some Pods templates as well. So it's that again, it's so powerful. It's just really.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I mean, I've heard of it and I've seen videos on it, but I
PODS.
So Sharon, with Pods, there's no premium version of Pods. It's free and all the stuff comes with it.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, so that is a pretty good argument for it as
Yeah.
well, I guess.
That's
Is this what-
basically
is
the
this the-
reason I moved to Pods and stop using ACF. And if you allow me, I can share a good example of things that you can do with
Sure,
Pods.
Oscar. Let me just real quick ask Sharon, is this what you're talking about?
yes, yeah.
I'm surprised there's only 100,000 installs. Okay.
Well, again, it goes to preference, like I said, in the beginning when I was learning and stuff, I used ACF and I used Jet Engine, and it goes to just trying different things until you find what you like.
Absolutely.
So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Okay, Oscar, what do you want to show us? I think you might be muted.
no, he's just getting ready. Yeah, he is muted. Oscar, you are muted.
Now this has to be better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. My bad. Okay, this is a dentist office that has 3 types of information. It has people, doctors and staff. It has dental conditions
Right.
and procedures to fix those dental conditions.
Gotcha.
And they're all tied together. So if I go to, let's say, our doctors,
Like relational fields or something?
Yep.
yes, relational fields.
And that's the
And
other
it was
thing.
huge.
Sorry,
This-
Oscar, let me just add that in. That's the other thing about ACF. You had to go to ACF Pro in order to do the relational fields, whereas it comes with pods already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Let's say we get this doctor. So we have
Okay.
doctors here. And this is a loop, and this is a post grid. Right? Okay,
Yep.
so let's go to the single post. This single post has the doctor, and it has the name,
Mm-hmm.
has the title,
Right.
has a full bio,
Okay.
and we have here the conditions that this doctor treats, and it has the procedure he can perform. And if I go to, let's say, this condition, I'm going to find that condition is related to these procedures, and you can talk about that condition with these doctors. And if you go to a condition, then you will be able to know which doctors can perform that. Click on it.
Yeah, I like it.
That is a lot of related data.
Yeah, but he's done.
No, it's pretty
he-
simple.
but
Let me
he's
show
done
you
all
how
of-
you do it.
Yeah,
No,
but
it's
he's
nice,
done all
though.
of this with pods. He
Yeah, it
didn't
makes
have to
sense.
use anything extra, but all of this was done with pods.
So let's go to the back end,
Yes, please.
see how it works. We have pods define dental conditions. I have, okay, let me sort this by type.
Wait, Oscar, can you take a step back before you show them this? Can you just show them the add new so that they can see the options they have when you add new pods?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's go just to edit one. Okay. Let's no, I'm sorry, Sharon, hold on a second.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah, these are the different pods that I have defined. And I have a custom type, see, a custom type for conditions, a custom post type for procedures, another one for smile makeovers that is a different story, and the staff members. So this one, dental conditions, procedures, and staff members are the ones that are related. Let's see what fields do we have on the staff members. On the staff members, we're going to have these fields. Come on, move.
You're like me, Oscar. I can't wait for the screen to rewrite.
I have a yes or no field, if it's going to appear on the website or not. If that person is going to be on the home page or not. Because I can have it on the home page or have it on the list of all the staff members. See, I have the first name, I have the last name, a nickname, which I use for, let me go to a doctor. Let's go back to this one. And on this one, this is the nickname. Right here. That's what I use it for. So I don't have to use the full entire name.
So
Yeah.
Dr. Costa.
Last name. That's why I use the
So you guys see how he's thought that out? I mean, he's, appearing where it's going to appear and if it's on the homepage and, even the name. I mean, he's thought all of these fields out on how he's going to be using this.
But I have the title, I have the short bio, which is kind of the same thing than the excerpt.
Right.
I have the full bio, which is a longer bio. The short bio goes on the loop, and the short bio goes on the single page. I have the profile picture. I have a gallery of images for the personal photos to give it a personal touch on that. So when I come to the doctor, this one doesn't have them, but some of them have personal images, let's say running or playing tennis or whatever. See, just to give it a personal touch of it.
Got it.
The order on the list, if that person is going to go first or after someone. And here are the related dental problems, the related procedures, and the conditions treated. So, and basically the same information is handled for the others. Now, let's go to the staff members. If I go to all the staff members, now let's take the same doctor.
Hey, Niblet, stop it.
Go.
No, she's talking to her cat, I think.
I'm sorry, Oscar.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
No, I was talking to my cat. I should have muted myself. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, let's go to the specific information of that person.
Okay.
We have the full name, which is this one here.
Right.
We have, if it's going to go on the website, yes, displaying our team page. No, do not display on our team page. If it's going to be, yes, display on the home page, or no, don't display on the home page. Then I have first name, last name, nickname, and this is the full bio. This is in process, so that's why we have these things here. The profile picture, personal photos, I have none, and these are the related dental problems. And
Got it.
if he stops doing missing teeth, I just uncheck it here, update the pod, and it's
Mhm.
going to disappear from from the entire website.
Got it.
It's going to disappear from missing teeth. It's going to disappear from the person, and all that. The same with related procedure and related conditions. And those are the relationships that are very super powerful on pods. And then let's say we go to let's go to a dental procedure. Let's go to diagnostics. While that loads, let me go to diagnostics. These are the dental conditions. We had a change of names in the middle of the development, but okay.
I hate that when that happens.
Oh yeah,
We decided we're going to change everything.
I see that a lot. So right here, this is an image gallery and not a
Okay.
local map. See, but that's the way you set it up. See, and these are templates. These are pods templates, and the
Okay.
way you find those pod templates is that, let's say we come to this one here. Now, I'm sorry, go to the pods. Or the templates. And I have defined several templates. Let's say the staff members related to a procedure. And if I go to that staff members related to a procedure, the only thing I have to do in pods, and it requires a little bit of a knowledge, is this is the template right here. If there's a related staff member, change line and have an A4. You can talk about the post title with this specialist. And then for each related staff member, you just have a link right here. Where you have the person and the name. And that's kind of the old 4-command in Fortran.
Yeah, it's a conditional statement, so that's a nice thing about doing the templates. You
And
can,
it works beautiful. And if there is nothing, if there is no related staff member, none of this is going to show,
Right.
which is beautiful.
Yeah,
Can you show us how you edit, like how that's displayed in Elementor? Like, right, can you edit this page and show us what the?
This is not a page. This is a template. Let's say
he uses the pods template. I can show you how pods are used in Elementor.
let me go to the
Yeah, but the rest of that content on that page is got to be built somewhere, right? So that page is built.
Yeah, he's built the template for that.
Yeah, and then what are you using to call that pods template? Is it a shortcode or?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's an Elementor widget. Let me show you how that page is built. This
It also has some widgets for Elementor that you can pull in.
See. So
You say pod has some widgets that you can pull. Okay.
Yeah, pods has if he's I don't know if he's going to show it, but I can show you what
I can show it in a second. Let me go to the staff member. This is the single post for staff members. I hate this in this staff member single post. Let's edit it. So what I have to do right here is first thing is defining the query that I want to use to build the template. Okay, so right over here, no, these are the side settings. Why isn't this the single post settings? What happened here? Kind of frozen. Oh, sorry.
It's okay, happens to me all the time.
Okay, right here, I'm going to make a query. The previous settings. I want to use staff members for my from my post. I select the staff member,
Right,
and then I select one of them,
right,
and that's why I am seeing this. And then I just start building. This is the post titles widget, and it's
right.
the title is dynamic. This is a text editor, which is a pod field, and that pod field is the staff member titles.
Okay,
And this is a text editor, which is also dynamic, and the dynamic is the staff member full bio. And I go selecting each one of the fields until I build this. And right here, I come to a template, a pods template. And the only thing I have to use is a short code, which is a pods template. And I give the same name that I used when I defined it.
okay, so the
You-
that pods template has not just the bullet list, but also has the title at the top. It says Dr. Acosta can treat the following dental conditions.
Oh
That's
yeah, he showed us that. That's the headline.
that's it. If related staff member, then write that and write the title, and then after that, for each, you just list them.
Can you show them the pods widgets on there? On the panel?
But Ryan, to your point, once Oscar populates all these, you can go to the styles and set your, you would design it just the way you would normally would with any other Elementor items from that point on.
Right. What was your question, Sharon?
Show them the pods widgets. Do you have the widgets on there? The pods widgets?
Out, basic,
It'll be way down.
pro, general, site. I have essential add-ons, and that's what I use.
Should be pods. So I can show you guys the pods side
Okay,
with Elementor
okay.
if you're
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah,
That's why I love pods.
you want to turn over the steering wheel there, Oscar, and let Sharon drive for a sec?
Oh, I want to hijack him.
That's Oscar for you.
We all love Oscar.
Let me make sure. I want to make sure, let me update what I was in before I jump out of this. 1 second. Because I want to show you a little bit extra, a little bit more. Oh, come on. Okay. Pull that out. Then. Screen. So so what I wanted to show you, so I wanted to show you a little bit more when you go to create a pods.
Yeah,
This is the other reason why I like it, is because not only can you create new pods, like this is the pod that I created, and but you can also extend an existing product of post type. Like for instance, this is in WooCommerce, and WooCommerce is just a different post type. It's a product post type.
right.
And so this is, and I've got, hold on one second. Let me, where's my so as you see in this product, I've got 72 fields that I had to add to this product post type.
Okay,
And it's basically for this company, it's a kiln company, and it's a lot of specifications that gets pushed into the website
right,
for each product.
right.
So not only can I create like you see Oscar did, but I can also add to an existing post type. Excuse me. So why is this taking so long to load? And you can see I've gone a step further than Oscar did. I kind of organized mine a little bit. So this is all product information, and this is the specifications that come in. So those are all the fields that I was able to add to products.
Okay,
Most of them are plain text because, again, this is being pushed in through API. So most of them are going to come in as plain text. And then there's another section called elements, and another section for wiring diagrams and manuals. And so what I can do is show you what that's going to look like in a product. Actually, that'd be cool. Try to pull up one that's going to make sense here.
okay. Just so everyone's conscious of time, we've got about 5 minutes left,
So if you haven't seen a WooCommerce product, this is normally what it looks like. Again, it's just like a post. You have a title. Instead of an excerpt, you have a description, and then you have some product data.
right?
Here's here's where you start to see what I've added in. Okay, so here's all the fields for those product specifications.
And if you don't need them, you just leave them empty.
Yeah, well, I again, like I said, this information is pushed into the website through an API
Okay,
from the company. So yeah, if they don't have information there, it's just left blank.
okay,
And so the template that displays these products
how many products are on this website? Thousands, hundreds?
Yep, thousands. Okay, where's my templates? Oh, I forgot. I used something else for these templates. Sorry. Where is it? Here it is. I have to actually use what's called Anywhere Elementor templates for this.
Yeah, I've used that before.
Yeah, mainly because of what I have to do. Let's see, that's parts. I want a kiln here.
Is it because of the relational aspect of it? I'm
You know,
trying
because I'm trying each specification, I want to be able to pull line by line. And so you can't do that with just an Elementor template. So I'm going to show you the pods widgets that comes in, and how I was able to pull in everything in specific areas that I needed to use some of the data. So for instance, here's a skew.
Right.
Okay, come on. And so this is using, and well, this is using anywhere. And actually, here's these are coming from the pods field. So you see it's a pods field, and you choose it from the fields list, kind of just what Oscar showed you.
Right.
So it pulls, I was able to strip that down by individual fields. So when you look at the widgets, so here's pods here, and I would just pull in the pods field and just kind of, like you see, you just select, you know, the appropriate field that you have assigned to it. And again, if you want to do anything before and after, but this gives us better control, or at least it gave me better control on how to display these fields when I needed to pull them in for particular products or whatever they were using.
Yeah,
So
but Sharon,
yeah,
those pods widgets are not widgets from pods. Those are widgets from dynamic content for Elementor.
that's right.
As
Yeah.
a specific widget for pods and for several other things.
Right. Yeah.
Does Elementor proper have widgets for pods? I don't remember.
No.
No,
This is, like Oscar said, I use dynamic content in other places. So
Right.
when I found out that it has fields for pods, that was another benefit. So
I love dynamic content for
yeah.
Elementor.
Yeah.
Love it.
So yeah, I use dynamic content a lot. So and I can turn off what I don't use, because you know this isn't everything that it has. I mean, it has a whole lot, but I can change the settings to what I only use in each project that I work on. So I have templates for each kiln. I have templates for parts. They have a lot of different ways to display. I mean, their main product is kilns, but they have parts to those kilns, which is, you know, another template, and they have these elements, which is another template. So there's so many things going on here that a simple WooCommerce install isn't going to do it. And I just found a lot of solace with using pods. I was just so grateful that that it has that capability.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna have to
Sure.
learn something. Like I don't need to learn something new every day. Oh gosh. All right, but at least I know somebody who knows about it. So
That's Sharon.
yeah.
Sounds like a topic for one of our upcoming meetups.
Yeah.
Elementor and Pods.
Elementor and pods. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Featuring Sharon Yates.
Okay, we can talk about that.
We will.
Alrighty. I appreciate everybody coming and everybody who contributed and got a lot of good stuff.
Absolutely.
Oscar showed me how to widen the thing, the loop
Preview.
builder.
Your loop. Widen your
Yeah.
loop.
And
Loop preview.
and then we learned more about pods. And I was actually blown away by the fact that it's free. I thought it was a paid plugin.
No, they do have a paid option, but it's really a donation. You don't even have to pay, You can donate $50, $25, whatever you want. It's an
One of those things that says, you want to buy me a cup of coffee? Here it is.
yeah. It's an SDC, but it really doesn't add very much. I do have it, but it's more. In fact, the only reason why I have it is because I'm building a web application for another client, and it's more specific. And I'm building the entire database. So Pods is that development part. It's called Pods SDC or something like that. Sorry, SDK.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, SDA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So there's a few things that it adds, but not really anything that I would say go out and buy it.
Right.
Because you can get by without it in a regular working environment.
And the combination pods and dynamic content for Elementor works beautiful. That's a perfect marriage,
Yes.
definitely, if that exists. It's a beautiful
Right.
combination, definitely.